they don't see a need for change. And so those are fights you may not want to take on. If somebody doesn't see the need to change, then they have the right to be comfortable in what they have going on. It's not a matter of pulling someone out of their comfort zone, but it's a matter of truth, and seekers of truth want the truth, and they want to live by truth. Jesus himself said, when it came to truth, he said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." And so that's why it's so important for us to know truth and to live our lives by truth, not to base our lives on lies or things that are inaccurate. Jesus was the one who gave us that advice. Know the truth will set you free. The book of Matthew gave us this advice. It says, "Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inward they are ravenous wolves." And as it relates to us, no one wants to, at the end of the day, find out that they've been misled. And that's what happened to many of us because, sad to say, early on, we didn't take the time out to research the things that we had been taught. We just kind of went along because it sounded good and that's what everyone else was doing. But once we've took the time out to research things ourselves and draw our own conclusion, many of us were taken aback. We were like, wow, I based my life on inaccurate things. I based my life on lies. And this is a very sad thing to come to find out after years that what you were believing in was not true. So many of us were misled, and many of us have come to a new understanding, and so that's a really good thing. So we really need to examine religious teachings, especially when it comes to us making big decisions in our lives. Jesus also said this. He said a truth would be evidenced by its fruit. And so when it comes to truth, truth is what we seek. We seek Jehovah's direction. We seek his blessing, but we seek truth. In general, if we have an organization, if it's a Catholic organization, or Baptist, or Protestant, and they come out with a lot of things, and these things are found not to be true, we point the finger at them like those are false prophets because they don't get it right. They don't prophesy right. But why wouldn't it be the same with a group that considers itself to be Jehovah's organization? If they're making false prophecies, then they're false prophets. So there's no pointing the finger at one group, but this test doesn't apply to another group. No, it applies to everyone. If you are teaching inaccurate things, then you can be identified as a false prophet because Jehovah does not inspire or put forth lies for his people or put forth inaccurate things. So it's our responsibility to know the truth, and if we want to be pleasing to God, we need to live our lives by truth and identify people who aren't telling the truth. So that's one of the things. The book of Psalms, another scripture, it says that we don't want to put our trust in princes or human beings who cannot save. It says their spirit goes out, they return to the ground on that very day, their plans come to nothing. But blessed are those whose help is God, is the God of Jacob, whose hope is in the Lord their God. So we don't put our trust in men, regardless of who they are. That's what the Bible tells us. It says we put our trust in God. Princes, those who are holding high positions, quote unquote, there's no need to put our trust in them. We need to trust in Jehovah. He is the maker and he is our creator. Oftentimes when you see videos like this, like many people are scared, intimidated, fearful of watching, fearful of listening because many of us have been indoctrinated that we don't listen to material like this. You know, whoever is sharing material like this, these are apostates. These are people who are mentally diseased. These are people who are looking to lead you into destruction. You know, they're people looking to draw off people for themselves. But the reality is no one has an interest in drawing off anyone for themselves. No one has an interest in setting up a new organization. The point of it is that Jehovah's representatives or representatives of the true God would be people who told the truth, people who would identify what the true God wanted, people who would not tolerate being taught false doctrine, people who recognize what injustice is, and the same people who would be looking to change injustice or looking to share what is true with others. So when it comes to apostasy, you have a definition of apostasy on the website JWorg, and their definition is this. It says apostasy is abandoning or deserting the worship and service of God, actually a rebellion against Jehovah God. Some apostates profess to know and serve God, but reject teachings or requirements set out in his word. It says others claim to believe the Bible, but reject Jehovah's organization. So by the definition given to us by JWorg, the Watchtower, their definition of apostasy is people who abandon the worship of Jehovah and actually are rebelling against Jehovah. And the truth of the matter is most people have no intention of abandoning Jehovah or abandoning true worship. The fact that they've actually taken the time out to research and to find out what the Bible actually says, this is evidence that they are actually looking to be pleasing to Jehovah. It says also others claim to believe the Bible but reject Jehovah's organization. Fact of the matter is many reject those who claim to be Jehovah's organization, or many are now rejecting the faithful and discreet slave because they actually read the Bible. And they have come to learn that this designation of a group of governing men, a governing body, or this faithful and discreet slave, as it's identified now, who retain the authority to dispense inaccurate spiritual food to the membership, these aren't people who are appointed by God. And even recently, as recent as the February magazine, they themselves admit that they are not inspired of God or anointed or appointed by God. So this is something that we can keep in mind when we think of apostasy and its definition. But on another note, apostasy, as defined secularly, it takes on another connotation. It says it embraces a broader context, meaning an opinion contrary to one's previous beliefs. It says renunciation and criticism of or opposition to a person's former religion in a technical sense and without pejorative connotation. So in general, when people say apostasy, there's in general a negative connotation that goes with the word, and so that's why some people shy away from it, or some people don't like to use the term because of its negative connotation. But basically, it means a changing of mind, a changing of belief. Interestingly, many religious groups found it necessary to punish apostates because they felt it was something that they would do to protect their membership. So their punishment of apostates was something that they would do. Even as early as the first century Christians, they would punish apostates even by death. They would seek out people who didn't agree with them, even if these people were converted to Christianity by means of force. If they no longer agreed, they would punish them and they would put them to death. So this is something that was going on early in Christian history, and it doesn't make it right, but that's just how things were done. However, even a secular organization, the United Nations Commission on Human Rights, considers the recanting of a person's religion a human right legally protected by the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. So even what some people consider to be a secular organization or even a worldly organization, they recognize the human right of freedom of religion, the human right that people have to change their mind or to change a previous way of thinking. it goes on to say in this article, it says the committee observes that the freedom to have or to adopt a religion or belief necessarily entails the freedom to choose a religion or belief, including the right to replace one's current religion or belief with another or to adopt atheistic views. Article 18.2 bars coercion that would impair the right to have or adopt a religion or belief, including the use of threat of physical force or penal sanctions to compel believers or non-believers to adhere to their religious beliefs and congregations, to recant their religion or belief, or to convert. So they mandated, they recognize the fact people have a right to change their mind, to change their religion, and they should not be penalized for this change. So in any event, that's just some information as it relates to religion and views on religion and information. I want to thank you for allowing me this time, and I will be doing a couple of more videos in the future, but hopefully someone can relate to what I'm saying, and they might find it useful and find the need to do research and possibly make a change. All right, so once again, thank you, and talk to you soon.